What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to React Riot, and today we've got a video for you about Bandung, and let's check it out.
Yes, I am showing you footage of Indonesia, but no, despite what you may think, these stunning landscapes are not images of Bali. What you are actually looking at right now is another region entirely, almost 1,000 kilometers away. My name is Josh, and I am a digital nomad who lives in a different country every single month. Join me as I explore...
It's the second biggest city in Indonesia, I'm pretty sure, Bandung.
The gorgeous Bandung region of Indonesia. And I am confident that if you stick with me until the end, you too will be adding Bandung to your travel bucket list. Train travel is one of my favorite things that there is, especially bullet train travel.
Yes,
the idea that we can quickly move across large countries like Japan or Italy or China on a train going hundreds of kilometers per hour just never gets old to me, and I jump at the chance to travel by bullet train whenever I can. So why am I saying all of this? Well, quite simply, it's because Indonesia launched its own bullet train just a couple of years ago, which travels from the capital city of Jakarta to, you guessed it, the third largest city in all of Indonesia, Bandung. It also has...
So it's the third largest city, not second. Okay.
The best name in all of train travel? It's called the Whoosh train. Literally...
What is the second largest city in Indonesia? I'll have to check it out.
Just like the sound. Whoosh. And I really feel like the Whoosh train alone is destined to make Bandung a major travel destination. You can travel directly from Jakarta to Bandung, a journey of around 143 kilometers in just over 30 minutes. I know. It's really remarkable. The ride is comfortable,
pretty cool.
And
30
fun,
minutes.
And it makes getting to the city
Jakarta
of Bandung easier and more convenient than ever before. But for as fun as it can be to ride a bullet train, arriving at the destination, at least in this instance, is even more amazing. Okay, let's back up for a second, shall we? I'm getting ahead of myself here. The reason I booked the Whoosh bullet train in the first place is because the more I started researching amazing and interesting things to do in the region surrounding Jakarta, the more I realized that many of them hover around a certain part of the map, near the city of Bandung. I didn't have all that much time on this trip to Indonesia, and so I decided that I needed to figure out how to maximize my journey, and I booked a guided tour. This tour would pick me up from the Whoosh train station in Bandung City and drive me around to several of the area's most incredible sites. It ended up being a private tour, and I was lucky enough to have a fantastic tour guide named Robbie, who happens to also be a local university professor. With Robbie now at my side, we headed out of the city itself and toward the first destination of the day, Kawah Putih, which is a gorgeous and active volcano filled with turquoise water that spews large amounts of the stinkiest sulfur smell. Kawah Putih means white crater, and if that sounds wild, that's because it is. I mean, this place feels like something straight out of a sci-fi novel. First of all, you have to take this shuttle to get to the top, and my shuttle's door was broken, so I was sort of responsible for holding onto the door and making sure it didn't fly open the whole time. We did eventually reach the crater, and by the time we got there, I was pretty much already sold on Bandung. The elevation and geography of the region make the temperature much cooler here than elsewhere in Indonesia. And so it was just a gorgeous, sunny, almost brisk day, despite being so near to the equator. I even paid a small additional fee to walk over this bridge in the middle of the water, which is totally scary and totally worth it. The bridge is kind of just like shaking under your feet, and meanwhile, all this boiling sulfur death water is all around you. Okay? Very video game, very Indiana Jones. It was all such an incredible experience, and honestly, at this point, I was already gagged. Of course, from the beauty and the surreality of the experience, but also just from the smell. Like the smell was making me gag. But we were just getting started. And believe me when I say, several more stunning moments in Bandung were still on the way. After visiting the crater, we made a quick pit stop just to see the most beautiful vista of my entire life. Yeah, this is a tea field, and it very much looks like the default Windows desktop wallpaper. These fields are just
I'd say
everywhere
legs.
in this area, and they're so common that we just like casually pulled over to take a look at this, like it was nothing. This isn't even an official stop on the tour, it's just a side quest. Like, this area is insane, I'm telling you. I ate lunch at a restaurant nearby called Bukit Senyam while Robbie took the opportunity to pray. And the whole time I was there was a cat who was just meowing so much,
Only got
like
one eye.
right in my
Cool.
face, and just staring at me the whole time that I ate.
Cat's hungry.
And now that Robbie left and now that I was
Yeah, food looks
unsupervised,
nice, doesn't it?
I do admit that I gave this cat most of my meal. I love this cat. Anyway, the actual next stop on this tour after lunch is basically like a natural theme park for adults. Or kids too, I guess. Families. This is Cahuarenganes, and in
Yeah,
some
that'd be
ways
cool
it's similar
to
to the
walk across
first
that
stop.
bridge.
It's a geothermal hot spring area, but in practice, it's a totally unique experience. Unlike at the last stop, the water here is cool enough to actually bathe in, and so people go here for mud baths or to take geothermal showers. There's even a wading pool, which I personally loved because I didn't have to take off my pants. What I love about this is that there's actually so much to do that you could easily just spend a whole day here by itself. In a short period of time, I ate an egg that was hard-boiled moments before in sulfur water. We crossed a rickety suspension bridge that is claimed to be the longest pedestrian suspension bridge in all of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, old school.
I know.
If you're
also
scared
very
of heights,
badass.
you wouldn't
I
wanna
wasn't
go on
even
that.
scared. Okay, yeah, I was a little bit scared. And if that isn't enough, there's a zip line sort of gondola situation happening where you can ride across the valley and watch the hot springs down below. Like I said, this is basically a theme park. And if you can believe it, after all of that, I still had one major activity left on my Bandung day trip, and it actually ended up being my favorite of them all. Due to the cooler climate in the area, certain produce thrives in this part of the world. Tea, as I mentioned earlier, is of course one of them. Rice is another, but those are sort of to be expected when you think of produce in Southeast Asia. What you normally wouldn't expect? Strawberries. Bandung has quite a few strawberry farms, and many of them are actually open to the public for berry picking. This is actually an activity that I do in my hometown in Pennsylvania in the United States during the summer months. And so this was almost like a
I like
throwback to home
strawberries.
for me, all the way on the other side of the planet. Aside from the
I mean, most people
nostalgia
do, I
of
think.
it all, I got to wear the cutest little straw hat, and I got to meet some of the sweetest local women who were picking strawberries at the same time as me. We weren't really able to have a conversation, but honestly, their smiles and enthusiasm alone were enough to just make my whole day precious. It wasn't super crowded, the weather was gorgeous. There is a lookout sort of over the hill and off into the distance
Awesome,
that is
like,
just
awesome
stunning.
views.
And of course, I got to eat some strawberries that came freshly picked right off the plant. I kind of found a quiet spot in the back of the field with no other people around, and I actually cried happy tears for a little while. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that sounds embarrassing to say, but it's true. Like, this made me so happy, and it was so beautiful for so many reasons. It was really special. So, I'm admittedly a bit of a type B traveler. I don't always plan very well. I sort of go with the flow and allow things to come at me as they do. And that can have its drawbacks. I'm trying to make YouTube videos here, and I sometimes struggle to get the footage that I need because I have such a relaxed disposition when it comes to planning. But you know what? It has its benefits as well. I booked my Whoosh train ticket to Bandung and my
They're chicken eggs because they look funny colour.
private tour with Robbie totally on a whim. What it ended up being is one of the most beautiful and enjoyable travel days I've ever had in my life. I got to see a part of the world that was otherwise unknown to me.
Yeah,
and I got
it's
to
so
make
nice.
friends with my tour guide Robbie
Definitely.
and learn about what
Definitely
it's like to live
cool place
and
to
raise
go
a
to
family in
if you're in
Bandung along
Indonesia.
the way. And all of that might never have happened if I had filled up my schedule ahead of time. There is no right or wrong way to travel. In fact, if you're watching this video, it may very well be because you're trying to plan out your future trip to Indonesia. Or, on the other hand, maybe you're considering booking a Bandung tour for tomorrow and want a heads up on what to expect. I mean, that's what I did. If either of those happen to be you, I do have an affiliate link to Robbie's tour in the description below. It really is the best way to explore Bandung. I had a blast, and I highly recommend it. I really hope that you get to meet him. Bandung is not
$55 for a tour
Jakarta,
with
it
Robbie.
is not Bali,
pretty
it is
good.
its own unique place. and I promise it is a place that you do not want to miss. Thank you so much for watching until the end. You are my favorite viewer. If you haven't already, would you like and subscribe?
So yeah, that's a pretty cool video. Got to see a lot of, not the city of Bandung that much, but the outskirts of Bandung, and all the places you can go to and have a nice day out. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. See you guys.